this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Amazon Health AI presents Painful Thoughts.
Why did I search the internet for answers to my cold sore problem? Now I'm stuck down a rabbit hole filled with images of alarmingly graphic sores in various stages of ooze. I can clear my search history, but I can never unsee that.
Don't go down the rabbit hole. Amazon Health AI gets you the right care, fast. Healthcare just got less painful.
This Monday.com ad was created by a team of people and AI agents. The agents wrote the copy and managed the timelines, while our human creative director made sure it all made sense. Easy. Create your own AI agent today on Monday.com.
This is Red Pilled America. Coming up on Famboogie, there are some crimes that are so repulsive that we should not spend a single brain cell rationalizing them. Murdering your 3 babies is one of those crimes. Hey, I'm Patrick Krelchie.
And I'm Adriana Cortez, and welcome to Red Pilled America's Famboogie.
Hey, this is Red Pilled America's Famboogie. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys' week has gone well. Ours has been nuts. We're empty nesters in the studio right now.
I don't know. I go from I'm feeling happy and I'm feeling sad.
I feel pretty numb right now. I'm feeling pretty bummed about the whole thing. I mean, Here's the thing, though. I'm really excited about the future with you, just me's and you's.
Just me's and you's
that's
again.
How it got started.
We've done this before.
We've done it before. So that part's great, but I do not like not knowing every second of my daughter's experience.
You know what? I know. But okay, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's get into the agenda first, and then we'll go back to our emptiness status.
Today, we have a lot to talk about, including what I view as an issue that is a great filter. It's one of these filters that come along every once in a while in the news media, which is this Lindsay Clancy case. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk a little bit about the Carmelo Anthony case update, the murder case out in Texas that you guys might know about. We've talked about it on this show before. We're also going to get into the Paramount merger and
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo, he's being accused of anti-Semitism. We're going to get into that as well, too. Join the Fam Bam. How many story shows like Red Pilled America are out there in the world? Not many. So we need you guys' support. Go to redpilledamerica.com, join the Fam Bam, and click join in the top of the menu. Also, be sure to check out Adriana Jade. Adriana, my co-host and lovely partner in life and in business, her Instagram account, it is a useful account for women, I would say, is probably the best way to describe it.
I would agree with that.
But there's also some great tips for men in there on if you want to get your wife a nice present for her birthday coming up or an anniversary, that kind of a thing. Adriana has a lot of things that she tests and shows off to the world and gives her opinion on it. So go check that out. Yes, we are empty nesters. We recently dropped off our daughter at college. And I got to tell you, it was one of the most exhausting days of my life. For all of you young RPA Fam Bammers out there, I would say have kids as young as you possibly can.
I agree.
Because it is a young man's game. You want to be moving your daughter into college, I would say like in your early 40s at the latest.
Yeah, because basically now I'm struggling with sciatica. And Patrick almost died.
What is sciatica? I've heard that word before. I guess
it's a nerve that runs along your back, and mine has flared up. So I'm literally heating it, you guys, as we speak.
Yeah, well, our daughter's dorm room, we were lucky to have a dorm room that was on the 3rd floor, and there was no elevator.
Oh my gosh!
So everything that we
lucky.
brought up, thank God we didn't have to bring up like a fridge or bring up like a bed or something along those lines. But it was still tiring, and I was operating on 1 or 2 hours sleep because I was just so excited and amped up for the next day, and I knew that Daddy was going to be on duty.
That was your day to shine.
It was my day to shine.
Your day to shine.
And I was really kind of like wanted to be there, and then that started getting in my head. I got an hour to 2 hours sleep.
Yeah,
I hit a hard wall at one point.
It was really, though, I have to say it was very exciting. It is hard, the fact that she's not here with us, but she's in a better place than I was at her age. I did not have the opportunity to go to, a 4-year university right out of high school. I certainly didn't have the opportunity to dorm. And so, the goal is that you want your kids to have better than you did. And I feel like we accomplished that. So that's exciting. I also, I keep telling myself that this is what I prepared her for. This is what I raised her for. And it would be so much harder if for whatever reason she were unable to leave the nest. She's right where she needs to be. Life is progressing just as it needs to progress, as it should progress.
Yes.
And I just keep coming back to gratitude. I'm grateful for, this opportunity for her, that we're able to provide it. And that's how I'm getting through the days, guys.
And the thing that you should be most grateful for is your husband and his delivering on the day of the move-in, because he delivered. He delivered.
Okay, really?
I looked in the mirror and I said,
crying.
That guy right there in the mirror,
delivers.
He delivers.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, in between your tears.
I actually came home and I got really upset.
Yeah.
You went and had to go do something, I think, and I was by myself for a minute, and I was watching Lady Bird. Of all movies, do not watch Lady Bird as you're moving your daughter out of the house, because it's like it gets even that much more emotional. I've actually moved it into my top 4 movies on Letterboxd. Because it's really, really good. But I'm watching Lady Bird as I'm doing things around the house, and I look up, and there's my Lady Bird is about a coming of age story it's a phenomenal movie, and I don't want to do any spoiler alerts, but anyways, it was a great movie. And so I look up, and there's my daughter with her graduation picture sitting on the piano, and I'm like, oh God. And it just kind of hit me. It really hit me that she wasn't there. But I'm excited, super excited. We've been preparing her for this her whole life. This is part of the cycle, and we are part of this cycle of life, and I'm really, really excited about it.
I will say this, now that our daughter has moved in, now that summer's over, now we can get back to our regularly scheduled program. So we are going to have a new Red Pilled America episode for you guys next week, which is going to be really, really good. I'm really loving this episode.
Yeah, it's taken so long as far as research goes, but that will be coming out very, very soon. So
yeah, but we also had a lot of things going on in between.
Yes. So let's get on to this Lindsay Clancy case, because it's been one of those things that's been fascinating to watch, and I didn't even really know about this until you started coming in and talking to me about it.
Well, here's the thing, though. The way it started for me was I got some very bad intel from 2 of my best friends. And one of them is really the conspiracy theory bug has bit her. And every, conspiracy theory or ridiculous thing that happens, she falls for it. And she roped me in and she said, "Have you heard about this case?" Yeah. The husband did it.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said the husband did it. Yeah. And then you come in and you start telling me about it. And I've seen a little bit about it, but this has definitely early on captured the imagination of women much more than men. So you come in and you say, well, the husband did it. And I said, no, I
didn't say that. I said, have you heard about this case? Yeah. You're saying the husband might have done it.
Yes.
Because he was wearing different clothes at the CVS.
And I heard that, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. I've heard that she's admitted to killing her 3 children. This does not make sense, what you're saying. I said, either there's an explanation for him changing his clothes, the video is pixelated, or that piece of information is absolutely false. So she comes in enough, because you're hearing from your friends, because this thing is starting to really pick up steam.
Well, not only are my friends now talking about it, but now I'm seeing it. Everyone's starting to talk about it.
Yes.
So I have to go run errands. I have to go shop. I have to get my nails done. So I say to Patrick, you need to look into this.
I love how you drop that all on me. So I actually started looking into it, and I'm thinking, oh my God, the intel that you are getting is so bad. We need to start revoking voting rights for people that think this.
He immediately goes to that.
Okay. But that said, I started looking into it, and there's a reason I could understand why people get caught up in controversies and get caught up in conspiracy theories. And the way social media is set up, and it is set up to incentivize the most clickbaity thing possible. But I want to first get into the background of this case first, and then get into some of the ramifications of what's kind of coming out of this. So let's first do that, because I hear a lot of people talking about this, but they aren't really talking about really what happened and the lead up to it, which is the important part. So Lindsay Clancy, she was born in 1990, so this kind of gives you an idea of her age. A former labor and delivery nurse. She was married to a man named Patrick Clancy. Eventually, she admits to strangling her own 3 children: a 5-year-old Cora, a 3-year-old Dawson, and Kaylin, which I believe was around 8 months old. She pleads not guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder, arguing she lacked criminal responsibility due to severe postpartum mental health crisis, often framed as postpartum psychosis. All right. So, but the interesting thing about that is that, and I've been seeing a lot of psychiatrists talk about this, and then I actually did a little bit of research on it myself. Postpartum typically arises within 3 weeks after the birth. I think it's a mixture of the hormones that are in the system after birth, as well as sleep deprivation. But her youngest was 8 months old, so she's outside of the kind of
pushing out a
typical
watermelon.
Yes,
and it's not easy. It's not pretty.
It's not. So the murders appear to be premeditated, and we'll get into some of that in a minute. And there's a lot of misinformation out there on this. And this is the problem, the real problem with social media and with the beauty of free speech and the importance of free speech. Obviously, we are free speech advocates here. We have been since the launch of this show. The canceling kind of phenomenon that happened was grotesque and troublesome. There is an issue, though, with misinformation going out there on these social media platforms.
Oh, absolutely, of course.
And there are people that appear to purposefully put out fake information or invalid information, and there needs to be something that some kind of a mechanism that deals with it, because when you had network television, there were filters in place to a certain degree, like the most outlandish types of misinformation. Today, you could be swarmed with that. You could have millions of people putting out false information, and there's really no mechanism for that. Previously, you'd have social media giants censoring people, but then that kind of backfired at times, in important times, like the laptop information in regards to Hunter Biden's laptop, and how people were basically getting their accounts frozen because of that piece of information. Wrongly frozen, I should say. So there is an issue with that, but there is a lot of bad information out there. It does appear that these were premeditated, and we'll get into that in a second. Her trial is ongoing in the Plymouth Superior Court. So the background, what happened? She married Patrick Clancy in 2016. Lindsay Clancy marrying Patrick Clancy in 2016. Clancy is not her maiden name. The family lived in Duxbury, Massachusetts. Lindsay reported postpartum anxiety after Dawson's birth.
That's her second child.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So after Kaylin's birth, Kaylin is the baby. Her mental health reportedly deteriorated. Starting around September 2022, nearly the end of the maternity leave, she sought psychiatric care for anxiety, insomnia, depression, related symptoms. Over subsequent months, she received multiple prescriptions. There are reports that cite that she had about 13 psychiatric medications in 4 months before the killings, prescribed, okay? Because the case ends up showing that a lot of these medications she either never took or she took like 1 or 2 pills, okay?
So she didn't get them all filled.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But the defense has been heavily leaning on these medications and this cocktail that she was given as the trigger to this psychosis and this killing. She had an inpatient stay at the hospital about 19 days before the horrific incident. She also reported symptoms including intrusive thoughts, disorientation, and then notably auditory hallucinations, basically a male speaking to her. But that account came after the murders, and it only apparently happened once. I've seen many experts online, and I've also, again, looked into this.
And also, we have some experience with this.
Yes, well, that's not a normal thing to just have
That's
that
not the way it
once.
typically goes down when people have this type of psychosis.
Yes, auditory hallucinations typically happen more than just once.
Yes.
So the incident itself, early on the day of January 24th, 2023, Lindsay took Cora to a pediatrician appointment and played in the snow with the children. They made some snow men, and then they actually ended up sending that picture to family members. This is a key thing, and this is the key thing for premeditation. Lindsay searched the time required to travel to CVS and a takeout food place that she was about to send her husband on. Shortly after 5 p.m., she asked her husband to pick up takeout at the restaurant in Plymouth, and then run a pharmacy errand at CVS. I believe it was Pedialyte or something like that she was trying to get for one of the kids, or at least that's what she told him. He leaves. He's gone for around 50 minutes or so, and this is being told through, I believe, phone data, through CVS cameras and what have you. While he is gone, less than an hour, she strangled the 3 children with exercise resistance bands in the basement of the home. All 3 died of ligature strangulation, which basically means not by hand. It means by some kind of, mechanism to choke. And Cora and Dawson were pronounced dead that evening, and Kaylin died in his injuries several days later. She then attempted suicide by cutting her wrists and neck. Some people are saying that it might have been a superficial suicide attempt because the cuts weren't deep in certain areas and she didn't jump from a far enough place. But anyways, she jumped from her second-story window. She sustained a spinal cord injury that left her paralyzed from the waist down, and now she's been going to the courts in a wheelchair. Her husband returned, found Lindsay injured outside, called 911, then discovered the children in the basement, telling dispatcher variations of "she killed the kids." The husband and the police described the scene.
I hate to point this out, and I don't know if it's obvious to most people, but the way that she killed the kids, those were not quick deaths. You don't die instantly when someone strangles you.
Well,
it takes a while, so they were aware that their mother was strangling them.
They say that it took a minimum of 4 minutes.
That's a very long time.
It takes 10 to 20 seconds to pass out from strangulation, but it takes at least 4 minutes of continuous applied pressure to actually kill them. And they're saying anywhere from 4 to 10 minutes. So that's how long she was strangling these kids. And I believe she separated them out so that she could make sure that she wasn't interrupted as she was killing the next one. So it was just a very methodical approach that she took.
That is horrific.
To killing these kids.
That is horrific.
The husband and a police officer that arrived on the scene describe the event, and we're going to hear that right after the break.
All right, if you guys know anything about me, you know that I am crazy about my dogs. And let me tell you something. My English bulldog, Pablo, had been suffering with the worst skin allergies. And then I started giving him rough greens in his food, and boy, what a difference that made. This stuff is amazing. Now Pablo is a Rough Greens dog for life. Rough Greens supports long-term health by providing live bioavailable nutrients, including essential vitamins, minerals, probiotics, digestive enzymes, and omega oils. Rough Greens promotes longevity by addressing common nutritional deficiencies found in processed dog food. I don't just recommend Rough Greens, I depend on it to keep my dogs happy and healthy. Traditional dog food is shelf-stable for years because it's lifeless. Rough Greens brings the nutrition back, packed with live vitamins, minerals, probiotics, digestive enzymes, and omega oils. Rough Greens isn't dog food. It's a live nutritional supplement you add to your dog's food. You don't have to change your dog's food to improve your dog's health. Just add a scoop of Rough Greens. It's that easy, and I promise you, you will not regret it. Don't change your dog's food, just add Rough Greens. Rough Greens is offering a free Jumpstart trial bag. You just cover shipping. Use discount code RPA to claim your free Jumpstart trial bag at roughgreens.com. That's RUFF greens.com, promo code RPA. So don't change your dog's food, just add Rough Greens and watch the health benefits come alive.
Amazon Pharmacy presents Painful Thoughts.
Of course I see my coworker in line at the pharmacy. Can you tell I'm picking up prescription hemorrhoid cream? I'm probably standing weird. Why is he smiling? He knows. He's gonna call me Hemorrhoid Lloyd tomorrow. I know it. I gotta quit my job.
Next time, avoid awkward conversations and get fast free delivery with Amazon Pharmacy. Healthcare just got less painful.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Anti-Semitism is continuing to rise around the world every day, and the Jewish people continue to pay the price. From growing threats against Jewish communities to acts of violence, harassment, and intimidation, many Jewish families are living with fear simply because they're Jewish. Synagogues, schools, and community centers continue strengthening security as hatred spreads far beyond the headlines. That's why the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews is working every day in Israel and around the world, providing security, emergency assistance, food, and critical care for vulnerable Jewish communities. For more than 40 years, the fellowship has stood alongside the Jewish people, delivering practical support when it is needed the most. Hatred continues to spread, but compassion and action can make a huge difference. So join me in joining the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews in praying for the safety of the Jewish people. Pray for peace in Israel and for an end to anti-Semitism. Together, we can remind God's people that they are not alone. So stand with Israel in prayer today by visiting prayifcj.org. That's pray, P-R-A-Y, ifcj.org.
You're listening to Red Pilled America's Famboogie. Join the Fam Bam. Go to redpilledamerica.com and click join in the top of the menu. So back to this case, this Lindsay Clancy case. You had the husband goes out on an errand. His wife asks him to go to CVS and then go to takeout, pick up some things. He comes back to this horrific scene, and this is his description of what he sees when he arrives. This is from his testimony in the court case.
And when you saw Lindsay on the ground there under the window, which direction was her body facing?
Her head was closer to the house. Her feet were away from the house.
Okay. And did you go to her?
Yeah.
And did you observe any injuries?
Yes.
And what did you see?
She had deep cuts on her wrists, and she had a red line across her neck. I wasn't sure what it was at first, but she cut her neck.
Did you say anything to Lindsay when you found her in that state?
Yeah, I said, "What happened?"
And what was her response?
She said, "I tried to kill myself."
Did you ask her anything else?
I said, "Where are the kids?"
And what was her response?
She said, "They're in the basement."
Upon his observation of us.
This is the police officer that arrived on the scene.
Myself and Officer Hall, he proceeded to head in our direction, leaving that room. And at that point, he looked up and he screamed, "She killed the fucking kids." Yeah, so when they removed Cora, myself and Officer Cahill went back upstairs where I encountered Mr. Clancy in the kitchen.
And what was his demeanor in the kitchen?
He was still frantic, kind of in shock, still screaming and losing himself. And I think at that point, I don't know, one of us requested that we get an ambulance for him as well.
Did anyone ever tell you not to leave your kids alone with Lindsay?
No.
In January of 2023, did Lindsay ever tell you that she wanted to harm your children?
No.
Did she ever tell you she was going to kill your children?
No.
Did you receive, a few days after this happened, did you receive a phone call from the defendant while she was at Brigham and Women's Hospital?
I think it was like a week or so after, yeah.
Okay. And what did the defendant say at that time about what had happened with the children?
She didn't talk about our kids. She talked about what she went through.
And what did she say about what she went through?
She said she heard a man's voice telling her that if she didn't do it now, she would lose her chance or something like that.
Did she mention the children at all during that call?
I don't think so. I mean, not directly.
Had she ever mentioned psychosis to you before?
No, I didn't know what psychosis was until after this happened.
Did she ever tell you she was hearing a man's voice before?
No.
So he's very composed.
He really is.
From a male perspective, when I watch this, what I see is a guy that's trying to keep it together, and they're potentially being just so much emotionally going on. He seems very subdued, troubled. People are seeing other things. I would say some of Lindsay's supporters, and there actually are a lot, saying that he did it, he's the one that did it, and what have you. And we'll get into that. So in the aftermath of this murder, she was arraigned from her hospital bed in early February 2023. In statements after the incident, she said she heard a male voice, as her husband said, telling her to kill the children and herself because it was her last chance, and described a moment of psychosis. She has also been reported as saying things like, "Go to God, baby," during the acts, per civil filings. Patrick Clancy later divorced her. Both Patrick and Lindsay filed civil lawsuits against medical providers alleging failures in diagnosis, monitoring, medication management, and treatment of her postpartum conditions. The trial began with jury selection around July 2026. The defense focuses on lack of criminal responsibility due to severe mental illness exacerbated by treatment medication issues. Prosecutors argue premeditation, sending Patrick out to create the opportunity is one of those examples, and that she acted intentionally. Evidence has included the 911 calls, medical records, phone searches related to mental health terms and suicide, witness testimony from family, providers, and experts, a jury view of the home, and more. So this is kind of a little bit of her background, because I think this is kind of interesting. After graduating from college in 2012 with a biology degree, she attended nursing school in Massachusetts. During nursing school, she was prescribed the antidepressant Prozac, an SSRI, and Olbrutin. She reportedly did well on those medications, with the only noted side effect being sexual side effects. I'm not sure what that means.
Low libido.
Low libido. Thank you very much. During the trial, a doctor was on the stand, and they were asking this doctor questions because this doctor spoke to Lindsay shortly after the murders. And this is what that doctor had to say.
But in that subsequent conversation that you were a witness to, where they were speaking on the phone and she told them about these voices, or explained about the voices, did she ask about the kids?
She did not, as I recall.
Now, in all of the times over the course of the last few years that you've met with Miss Clancy, how many times has she told you since the incident that she's heard a voice?
She has not heard voices since the event took place in 2023.
And you've now testified that over the course of a period of time that she did hear voices, right?
Yes.
And is that based on one of these 35 hours worth of conversations you had with her? How do you know that?
Well, they were collateral contacts. I spoke to other people who I asked the nature of their interactions with Ms. Clancy, and it was not a fishing expedition. I asked them if they can tell me what happened.
Well, I'm asking you...
But they disclosed, pardon me?
You have to let them finish.
So they disclosed information to me that Ms. Clancy shared that information with them.
So who did she tell that she had a voice that told her to kill herself?
She spoke to a chaplain named Sheila Kavanaugh, who I spoke with, and Chaplain Kavanaugh told me that Ms. Clancy told her that she heard a male voice instructing her to first kill her children and then to kill herself.
So the same message that she delivered to Patrick that day on the phone, you heard from a chaplain at Brigham and Women's Hospital after the incident occurred in January of 2023?
Yes.
And so from all of the records that you reviewed of her treatment and all of the interviews with her family, Who did she tell that she heard voices telling her to kill herself?
I believe she told family members.
Which family members?
I believe she may have said that to her mother. She, I believe, told her husband that she felt like killing herself as well.
In the records with the providers, you're aware, you've reviewed them all and you've sat through all of their testimony. You're aware that when she described intrusive thoughts, she never referred to them as a voice telling her to kill herself, did they? Did she?
No, she was referring to...
It's just a yes or no?
No.
So as far as her reports of these intrusive thoughts that appear over and over in the notes, you would agree that it was simply, when asked about what they were, it was simply that she felt like she wanted to die, right?
Yes, and...
It's just a yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so what she's trying to get at there, that's the prosecution. She's trying to get at there is that there was no indication prior to the murders that she was hearing voices, that what she was explaining to people and conveying to people were more self-harm types of concerns about herself, and that the voices aspect, or I should say scenario, didn't come out until afterwards, and it sounds like it happened once, and aside from that, the voices, there's no other voices talking to her in her head. So the prosecution's basically trying to make the argument that this is something that she came up with afterwards.
Yeah.
They also paint this trail when it comes to the medications and the fact that she wasn't taking some of them, had only taken 1 or 2 pills. This wasn't the kind of thing where she was just on this cocktail for months and months. It changed the chemistry of her brain, and she acted accordingly, according to this kind of malpractice by these doctors giving her these prescriptions. So they're trying to basically wipe away her defenses of insanity. And I got to say, there's a lot of damning testimony in that regard that I've seen in this case, where their argument that she was, hopped up on some medication cocktail and was pleading for help because she knew she was going to kill her children beforehand, that isn't playing out in the testimony or the evidence that the prosecution and the defense have been presenting inside this court case. So
if she goes free, she could be out theoretically in as quick as 6 months, right?
Well, I think actually, technically, it could even be 40 days is like the longest they can hold her, and then they put her in for 6 months hold, and then from then, I believe it's every 6 months to a year, they kind of recheck on things. Now, the heinousness of this case would probably preclude somebody that is diagnosing her from releasing her immediately. But technically, yes, she can leave very quickly if she's found innocent. So
the other thing that I find interesting is that this has happened before, other women killing their children, but for some reason this case has caught fire.
I think that is why so many people are talking about just this case. For whatever reason, you're right. There's a case in North Carolina where a woman killed one of her kids, and then one survived. She's pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. There's Layden Snelling, a case in Kentucky, pleads guilty to killing newborn son, stuffing him in a trash bag. There's Kaylee Earhart, a case in North Dakota. She killed 2 of her children. 1 survived. There's also even a male one as well, too. Chad Dorman executed his 3 sons. I mean, this is something that's happened time and time again. It appears to happen a lot more often
postpartum for women, of course.
Yes, in women, you're seeing a lot more of these kinds of cases pop up in the news.
Because men don't get postpartum.
Yes, exactly. So the fascinating thing about this whole thing has been the massive support for Lindsay Clancy. And the craziest part, if you look on TikTok and you see nurses posting support for her. They're posting videos where they are in the caption saying, "Same Lindsay," like they're feeling for her. They feel the same way that Lindsay does, the person that strangled 3 of her children. Sometimes they're even holding their children in the video that they're making for TikTok, saying "Same Lindsay" or "Me too, Lindsay."
And some of them are splashing their newborns with water as they're holding them.
So
now we're basically seeing women say "Same, I would like to kill my children as well because I'm going crazy."
And here is some of the conspiracy theories that's going out there. This is one woman claiming that that Patrick had done it.
Patrick Clancy has pissed off the witches. All the witches. My FYP is full of witches who think Patrick did it.
You also have celebrities doing this as well, too. Of all people, Lisa Rinna says that Patrick Clancy did it.
All right, he did it. Patrick did it. Patrick's the one who did it, not Lindsay. Patrick did it because, I also heard that women typically don't strangle. So awful to even say, but that isn't what a woman would do. They don't strangle. I was actually in therapy today, and my therapist and I were talking about it, and I said, well, what do they do? She said, well, they poison, or I said, oh, or drown them. Like, we literally had that conversation today. And she looks at me and she goes, he did it. I was like, wow, yeah. And now, yeah.
That is, she has
basically said nothing, by the way.
She
gave
didn't.
No information other than he did it with no evidence, no proof.
The evidence is that a woman doesn't strangle.
And by the way,
her
she
kids.
needs a new psychiatrist, a new therapist, because that person's also obviously crazy.
This is somebody that is incredibly has a huge platform, incredibly well known on this social media platform, making evidence-free accusations. And I guarantee you a lot of people align with this view. I've seen it. I've seen it online, people aligning with this viewpoint that this woman could not have done it and placing the blame on him. This is the thing that's fascinating about it. Lindsay Clancy has admitted to this. It's not even in question. That's not even part of the case.
No, he did it. That's not, no one's saying that he did it other than people on social media.
I mean, you
that
see,
are just coming to that conclusion. They're
exactly.
just saying that.
It's a completely made up conspiracy theory based on nothing but feels and vibes. And you have this Lisa Rinna amplifying that message out there. You still have people out there right now that believe that he did it and he framed her when she admits to doing it.
Well, and also women are very upset because apparently he got married right away after, breaking up with Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
He found somebody else. But I mean, that's neither here
So
nor
he did
there.
it.
That doesn't mean he did it.
Over $1 million have been raised from over 30,000 donations on GoFundMe for Lindsay's parents to alleviate the costs of supporting her as parents, which has been kind of a very troubling thing. And this thing has become a filter for dating now. You have women who say that the first thing that they are going to do is ask their date whether they think that Lindsay is guilty or not. And if they think that she's guilty, then they're going to walk away from the dinner immediately.
No.
My new vetting process for if I want to date a man, first date question I'm always going to be asking him is, do you think that Lindsay Clancy should go to jail for what she did? And if that man says yes, I'm getting up and walking out right then and there. I cannot spend the rest of my life with someone who thinks that woman is guilty and deserves jail.
So there you have it.
For killing her 3 kids.
Yes.
She should go free because her husband was an asshole.
Yes. Well, or he was framed, or he framed her, or what have you. Men are using it as well too. I've seen some posts on social media where a woman you could see their text messages to each other, and the woman says, "I can't believe you're breaking up with me over this," and he responds to her, "Yes, I'm going to break up with you if you think that it is okay, and you're supporting a woman that has strangled 3 of her children.
I don't want anything
am leaving
to do.
you.
Yes, I don't want anything to do with you. Yes, that's the right move, guys.
I think it is the right move. So, our thoughts on this. I have so much that I want to say on this, and I might piss off some of you guys out there.
Here we go again. You're so good at that.
I view this case as a litmus test. And there are few cases that come along that are this black and white. And this Lindsay Clancy case is one of them. I want to get into that over in part 2. Join us over there right now.